Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with Dede, live number 9 on the Invincible CEO channel. I'm so excited to bring you this live stream today. We have a hot seat guest who's going to join us in a little bit. So very excited that you're here. Welcome back for another live. I know it takes a few minutes for everybody to join on board. And we also have some wonderful questions submitted this week. So we are going to cover a lot to help you manifest with ease. So while we're waiting for everyone to show up, let me introduce myself. My name is, excuse me, one second. My name is Dede Povernick, and I am the Invincible CEO. I'm here to help you manifest with ease. I am the most exciting manifestation coach you're ever going to need. And the whole goal here in the Invincible CEO is to take the fun, delusional woo-woo and bring the conscious mind on board, because once you marry your two minds, manifestation gets so much easier. So if you've been in the manifestation world for just a little bit or a while, and you're wondering why your manifestations are hit or miss or why they're taking so long, it's because the minds aren't agreeing within you. They're meant to have a balance and equilibrium. And if you're too much into logic, you're going to frustrate yourself. And if you're too much into the woo-woo, you're going to be ungrounded. So we're going to bring those two worlds together. So if you are on board, if you are here watching right now, please let me know who's here. Where are you watching from? We are worldwide now, as we're close to 7,200 subscribers. There she is. So just to let our guests know that I can see you in the green room once again. So we're all good. And I'm going to bring her on in a little bit. And I know she's so excited to be here. She's taking those deep breaths back in the green room, getting herself all centered and focused. And we are going to have a wonderful time together. So please let me know where you're watching from. And you can put that in the live chat. I'm going to go over a few things that I do already have in the live chat so that I don't forget to get to them, because we have some timely things that are being offered in the Invincible CEO. So if you would like to be in a future hot seat, either on a Wednesday night live that we're doing, and it's nighttime where I'm at, or I'm going to have a one-day event, most likely not this Saturday, next Saturday, where I'm going to go live on the channel on Saturday for a couple hours and just do hot seat after hot seat after hot seat after hot seat. So if you would like to sign up to be part of on the hot seat, you can either look in the description box below or over in our live chat. There is a link for the hot seat. Hey, Kervin from Downingtown, PA, welcome. So we do have that link for the hot seat guest. It's a real simple form that you fill out. It's a way that I can get in contact with you and give you all the behind the scene prep that we have to do. It's really, really, really simple. So I know that a lot of people are going to be signing up for that event on most likely the 23rd of March. If not the 23rd, then maybe the 30th. I'm still working out those details. More to come on the Invincible CEO YouTube channel, and check our community posts that we have there for updates. The other thing I want to remind everybody of, and I want to get it out right from the very beginning, because I want to see you win big and win all the time. I want you to join us this Saturday, because our one-day event, we're going to have 5 live Zoom-like sessions. It's going to be in a private community. There's lots of fun pre-gaming information already over there about deep breathing, proper hydration, taking care of yourself, resting is awareness, going to your 0 point. I actually put up in that group and my other group, music for too many M's today, music for manifesting. So if you want to have some really cool playlists on your Spotify, then join us in our one-day event. And also I put our free nurture group sign up too. It's also offered over there. And there's a playlist right now if you'd like to run, if you like to work out. There's lots of energized music. It's literally called the Energized playlist. And then there's also a very calm and serene type of playlist with a bunch of love songs, and I call it Awareness Serenade You. So it's like songs, like if your inner me or your higher self would sing to you, that would be on that playlist. So you want to go check them out. But I can't say enough how much I want to see you there. We have a wonderful group of people already registered, and I know it's the last 3 days, and this is when everybody who's been thinking about doing it finally goes and does the registration. But let me remind you one more time, there is a registration fee. You get the group that goes with it. You get the one-day event, and all the event sessions are going to be recorded. They will be there in that group. So you will have access to that private group after the event for however many times you want to go back. There's a workbook. We are going to walk you through so many amazing experiences. So if you've been watching some of the videos on the channel and you really like how I walk you through an experience there, just imagine when we can do this and you actually can ask me questions as we're going through there. These one-day events are so transformative. And if you click on the registration link, you'll see some of the reviews from people who have gone through them in the past. And in the next upcoming weeks, I'm going to have a lot of my clients come on. I'm going to interview them so that you can see where they were when they first started to come into the Invincible CEO Circle. Some have done the same, how most of you are doing, just checking out videos, getting to know me a little bit better. And then they finally take the jump into the event. The really cool thing about the event registration is that after the event, I'm going to take the registration fee and reinvest it back in you. So whether you want to have a one-on-one session with me, whether you want to join the group coaching, you want to apply it towards the digital products, whatever you'd like to do, we'll take that fee and we'll credit towards whatever service that you would like. Because as you invest in yourself, that's what this is, an investment in yourself. You're investing in me and you're also going to get reinvested back into you. So it's almost like this boomerang effect. All right, so I see the numbers are starting to grow, that we have people on board here. So what I'm going to do, give Kat a few more minutes to get herself centered. I'm going to start answering some of the questions that were asked in our community tab and also some of the comments on some of the videos this week. We've had some really amazing videos. Yesterday's video was really about no more trying, right? If you're trying to manifest, then you're not manifesting, because all you're doing all day long is manifesting. Right now, in real time, simultaneously, you are watching this video, but your subconscious is manifesting it. This is something that you had an asking within you to either be connected to a community or to get some answers that you quite couldn't figure out on your own. I know there's a lot of manifestation information out there, and sometimes it seems contradictory. And the reason that is that every single teacher brings their own point of perspective from what their journeys have been, what their experiences have been. As I said before, I bring a very unique experience being a trained interrogator, an expert of the subconscious mind before there was YouTube. This is going back to the early 90s. This is how long I've been doing this, folks. Then my journey as a personal trainer, nutritionist, and 9th degree Reiki Grandmaster. So I bring a lot of different perspectives in, from the very logical, analytical, pragmatic, logical, conscious mind to the woo-woo, intuitive, in the now moment, subconscious mind. So this is where I love merging these minds, because all that I've done in my whole entire adult career has really been bouncing back between the two and seeing how similar both are. It's just when you're speaking the language of the conscious mind, the subconscious mind seems crazy. And when you're speaking the language of the subconscious mind, the conscious mind seems very laborious, right? So bringing those two together really cuts down your manifestation time, because the only person, and this is also Neville Goddard had said this, the only person that you're ever convincing is yourself. Oh, the other thing I did want to mention before we get into that is I want to give a shout out, because I have a special thing now on my channel. If you go to the channel page, whether you're on your phone or you're on your computer, there are featured channels. So there's other channels that I feature on my channel. You'll see them. They have little circles. Please go over and check out these channels when you get a chance. One is Sherry Elise, and the other one is Moira, the motivational mindset. Both ladies have wonderful YouTube channels. I highly recommend them. Give a like, give a subscribe, check out a video, make a comment on the video, let them know that Dede sent you. And I promise you that what they're sharing there will also build on what we're talking about here. And Sherry Elise is known as America's Joy Magnet. She is such a wonderful soul. And also Moira Hutchison is a good friend of mine, and she has a wonderful motivational mindset channel that I know you'll love. So I just wanted to share that with you. I see more people coming on. Just let us know where you are. Put that in the live chat. And so let's get to the questions, and then we'll get Kat on stage. I know she's just sitting there. She's like, can't wait to get on stage. All right. So it was a really interesting question, because really, to sum it up, is how do I get my money to manifest, right? And this is a little bit of the comment that came over. She's like, Dede, I picked my lottery numbers and I know they get me the whole jackpot next draw. I've been doing this for 7 years. So here's the question. I know I have it, millions of dollars. I can feel them, but it's been 7 years and it's still somewhere en route to me. When will this package with my money get here? I know it's mine. How to know when it's delivered, like an Amazon package, for example. Okay. So this really kind of ties in with waiting. And how I would start with this is really going into states of being, because states of being, each state of being has its own journey of fulfillment, right? And sometimes it's not that big of a journey. Right now, I'm in the sitting state of being, right? If I go to stand up, I will be in the standing state of being. And when you are waiting, you are in a waiting state of being. So the waiting you never receives. The sitting me never stands, and the standing me never sits. It's my consciousness going from sitting to standing. So if we bring this back over here to the question, it's a story, and the story tells you its own fulfillment. So she's picked a lot of the lottery numbers. Okay, that's one story. That's in winning realities, and that's in, we'll call it losing, but non-winning realities, right? So picking the lottery numbers happens in both realities. So we're still on both sides of the coin. And then I know that you're going to be the winner. So the way I look at lottery tickets, and again, you have to reprogram your mind, because if you're hoping and wishing and wanting, that's not the done deal. That's not the wish fulfilled. The hoping you is always hoping. The wishing you, even though we call it the wish fulfilled, but the wishing you is always wishing. The desiring you is always desiring, right? The wanting you is always wanting. So the wanting you never gets fulfilled. The fulfilled you is always fulfilled. So when we look at the wording here of I've been doing this for 7 years, so all there is the now moment. So that lets me know that you're trapped in a linear timeline, and that you think that there has to be steps for this to be played out. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of like you're coming into beginner awareness, right? You hear the concepts of, I can have anything I want and it's mine ahead of time. So your jackpot is there. And guess what? No one else will ever win your jackpot, because they have their own jackpots in their own world, because we are in our own little bubble, and everything we need is in that bubble, right? So when you're saying I've been doing this for 7 years, there's only now. There is no 7 years. So let's kind of get zeroed out to that. So before we start going into these big themes of I want this, where's it at? I've been doing this for this long. Let's get you centered now. Let's get you focused in the now. Because if you can start and get real neutral in the now, I have everything I need right here, right now. I have everything I need right here, right now. If I wanted more, it would be here. If I needed more, it would be here. Because once we realize that in the now moment, you don't need anything, because you are the now moment, and the now moment doesn't need a story, we neutralize everything out. And it's from that neutral point that we can choose to play the lottery. However, if you're going and buying the ticket because it's going to put out a fire of something in your reality of not having enough money, you're on the side of the coin of lack. And you can shift at any time, but you have to buy the lottery ticket in the state of being that you've already won it. And if you've already won it, you don't need it. It's this really fine paradox of, and I'm not talking about it being physically there, because we have to go back to the imagination is the true reality. If you think the true reality is out here, then you're going to keep repeating this cycle. So when I ask you, are you safe in your imagination? So would you feel safe in these millions coming in, right? And you can say yes right away, because the moment you say yes, you're in that reality. But then you have to pay attention to, does any of the echo chamber thoughts come in to say, well, what about this? And it's not that you have to address them. You can be aware that they're there and not address them. But when you're in your imagination and you want to win the lottery, you don't even have to buy the ticket. Just like if you want to make a pizza, you don't even have to place an order or find the money to go place the order. You can just put a pizza in front of you. So when you realize in this now moment, when you do, and this is why this Saturday's event is going to be so powerful, because there's only so much I can kind of convey here in these lives and in the videos, but it's another thing to walk you through these experiences. That when you give yourself this winning lottery drawing within yourself, and it's not just about seeing the lottery ticket and the numbers matching or getting and if it were me, I wouldn't even be doing the matching of the lottery numbers, because that still isn't quite where you want to be. I would be doing the imaginal act of seeing the money deposited in my account, whether it's a direct deposit or I get a check or I have to go to a lawyer's office and sign some documents and then be handed the check. Like, that's the kind of imaginal act I would be doing for a lottery win. But what we talk about here, and Neville Goddard talked about a whole lot, was that when you close your eyes and do the imaginal act, you have to give it all the feels. You see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, touch it, like it were real inside your imagination. And that's where people say to me, well, how often do I got to do it? And how many times? And did I do it enough? And then did I do it right? When you go in your imagination and you train yourself to do this, and it's like any new skill in the beginning, it really is. Sometimes with a new skill, you're so excited, you get some hits right away. And other times it takes a little bit to develop it. That's why I say with manifestation, when you actually start doing this zeroing out and then doing the techniques, instead of just doing the techniques in a state of wanting or lack or waiting, because whatever reality that you're doing it in, it's like you have to keep in that state in order for it to come, because that's where it was birthed without this really understanding what's going on. So manifestation is easy if you stay out of your mind, because the now moment doesn't need thought. And when you go and you give it to yourself in your imagination, when you walk away from that imaginal act, you should feel just as satisfied and complete like you've just did an Amazon order. So that's why you can't fool your subconscious mind. And it just means that if you walk away from your imaginal act and you're still questioning if you did it right, do you need to do it again? Do you say that when you order on Amazon? Probably not, because you know the transaction was complete. There's a sense of completion in the transaction. So when you're doing imaginal acts, you will get there in time with pure repetition, but you want to have repetition without any contradicting thought of, will I have it? Will it happen? When will it happen? That's contradicting thought. You are house divided within yourself. And it's quite a story. So if you start telling the story, I won the lottery last week or last month, and and there's a different kind of waiting, and now everything's done, I'm just waiting for the money to arrive. That's a step up instead of going into the straight victory of it. That still has you waiting, but it's a different kind of waiting, because it's waiting after the fact, and there's a definite time frame. So, and you don't even have to know what the real time frame is. These are different ways that I've gotten people out of this kind of mind loop. But this is something, again, without having you here to talk with you directly, this is probably the best explanation that I can do, is we always want to do imaginal acts. Now, there are times where we just do, all right, let me step back a little bit. Everything is imagination and everything's an imaginal act. I'm doing an active imaginal act right now. This is my dream, and I'm living out doing a live on a Wednesday night in my dream. And then I can close my eyes, and after I'm done here, I could do it again in my imagination if I wanted to, right? So that's a passive imaginal act. But before I do anything, whether I'm doing it in my closed eye imagination or my opened eye imagination, you see what I did there? That's really important. between the two, because it's all imagination. I'm always imagining. It's not that this is imagination and this is real. That's a house divided within yourself. So just think about your day today. You've imagined that into reality, what you would call real reality. And what I'm teaching, and a lot of the other manifestation coaches are teaching, is conscious manifestation, conscious creation, where you're realizing in real time, in 24/7 real time, you are affecting the reality around you. So that is why when I make a decision, before I engage with anything, I make sure I'm neutralized, because then my reality knows that when I do that, I'm the operant power, and I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm here, I'm now. And it eliminates a lot of the gatekeepers. It eliminates a lot of the doubt. And are there times where I forget to do that? Yes. And right away, I'm shocked into reality because things go sideways, because I had to retrain my lazy mind. I'm not lazy, but my mind is, because if you, I said this in the video, I believe yesterday, if you ask for $1,000 and give it 3 days and see, or actually not even ask, command your mind, bring me $1,000 in real spendable money, right? So it could be dollars, it could be a gift card, it could be, but you know what I mean? It's not play money. It's real money that you could spend the moment that you receive it. So you command your mind, within the next 3 days, bring me $1,000, and then see how much. This doesn't count if you had a paycheck coming in or a client paying you. This is in addition to what would have been coming in had you not made this command. If you pay attention at those 3 days, how much you could find money on the ground, that counts. Any kind of money that comes in, right, that you receive, because you don't have to earn it. You could do part of that, but it would have to be something extra that you already weren't doing. And let's say your mind brings you 70%, it brings you 700. So that means your mind is working on 70% of the commands you give it. But you didn't command it for 70%, you commanded it to bring you 1,000. So that's where, once that comes in, then you have to say to your mind, well, where's my other 300? Because if you don't, it's going to bring you 70%. But most of my clients, when they first start to realize and work with me with this, their minds are bringing them like 25, 30%, because your mind has been so lazy, because whatever it throws out at you, you believe it. It doesn't even have to work hard. So if you think about, if you're outside and it's a sunny day and you go into a building for a meeting, and you're in a room that has closed, there's no windows, and you come out and it's sunny again, but everything is wet, the first thing that your mind will do to keep you safe is go, oh, it rained. It'll get, and right away you'll go, yep, and you'll be on your way. You don't know that it rained. They could have came and swept the streets and had hoses all over the place, or there could have been a circus that ran through, right? You don't know what happened, but because your mind is so used to offering you the first thing, and you as the operant power go, okay, when you don't, I mean, nothing is true until you okay it. So that's where, with this, before we're going into these bigger manifestations, just like if you were coming for a nutrition plan, we would take your scale weight. We would do your body measurements. I would put you through a couple tests, because I need a baseline. I need to know what your jump off is. So before we start adding in all these manifestations, and again, you can do that, and there's some hits, but once it starts to become the new norm, your conscious mind gets tired of this playfulness stuff, and it really starts to pull you back. That's why I see all the time people are saying, why am I being pulled back? Or why does it seem like everything gets worse before we move forward? Because your mind's kind of throwing a hissy fit, in the sense that, and it's really not even your mind, that it didn't have to work this hard to get to pull you back. And that's why it seems like there's that tug of war going on within you. So the whole idea is, before we really go into these big things and you get frustrated with manifestation, get a baseline. It doesn't take very long. You take 3 months, activate, align, and anchor. And when you start activating in the first month, your stuff starts coming in by the end of the month, because you're retraining, and all your mind is a faithful servant, and it really does want to serve you. But it's just imagine if you had an employee that you've been paying and they work, like 2 days out of 5, and all of a sudden you figured that out and you're making them work 5 days now for the same amount of money they were making, that person would throw a hissy fit a little bit. So that's all that's ever going on. So where's your money? Your money's right there. But we got to get you, because the character you're in right now has shown you it's not showing up for her. The shift hasn't happened. You have to shift into the character within yourself that is the receiver of that. So I'm going to put a pin in there. We'll talk a little bit more after we bring Kat, because I see that she seems very nice and relaxed now. So Kat, get ready. I'm going to bring you on. Oops. Let's bring you on to stairs. She is. I'm going to take a little sip. That was a lot to say there. Welcome to the hot seat. How you doing?
Hi, everyone.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. So take a couple deep breaths.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good. Let's get nice and centered. 3 big deep breaths. I have the energy all Reiki-fied. And after your 3rd deep breath, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you feel comfortable sharing. Who are you? Why are you here?
Well, my name's Kat, and I'm from the UK. And why I'm here is because, about 4 weeks ago, is it about that time? I was looking at YouTube, looking at manifesting videos, and you kind of burst in on my screen. It's like, who are you? Where have you been? And I've been following Dede ever since. So, and I need a little bit of help.
All right. So, what would you like some help on? What would you like some help on? Where are you at?
I think what you've been saying about being a house divided, there's certain things I want and etc. But I have struggled a little bit with the being in the present moment.
Okay.
So I'm getting tongue-tied. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, everyone.
We'll take it nice and slow. Okay, so you're struggling. You said.
I think it's just being in that state of commanding what it is I want and expecting it to show up. So just like what you were saying to the subscriber with her question. I think that is it, really.
Okay.
My mind had been throwing a hissy fit this week, and normally I am on my game with affirming, and I do a bit of EFT if things get overwhelming emotionally. So I do take care of that aspect of it. Okay. But I think, like your subscriber, it was like there was still that part that was waiting, even though I'm going forward in lots of ways. There's still that part that I'm either on a loop with waiting, and I just want it done, over and done with, and just get strident, right?
Okay. So when you say that you're struggling to be present, can you explain to me how do you come to that awareness?
That's struggling to be present isn't the right thing. It's struggling to. I've made a decision. I've made a command on my day, say, and then I've been testing myself with planning my day ahead, if you see what I mean. And then things are happening, like say at work, because there's certain tasks that I want to do or don't want to do that day, and I set the intention or whatever, but this is what I'm going to do today. But because you're in work and then they say, oh, can you do so and so, It's kind of like
Okay.
I find myself going along with it, and I think that is one of the majority of the problems that I've had on a bigger level is putting up with things that I don't necessarily want. And perhaps I have been very disappointed in the past of not getting what I want, so I just settle. And it's gone beyond, I don't even get disappointed anymore. I just kind of find myself automatically going along with it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
So looking at the scale in my mind of Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, you know, when you don't even get disappointed anymore, I would say you're at the level of apathy. It's really like whatever kind of thing, where to even go up to grief is a little higher than apathy. That means that you're still feeling some emotion of loss, right? By the time you drop down to apathy and you're like, whatever, people get the apathy level and neutrality mixed up, because apathy is whatever and neutral is all things, right, are equal, are valid. So let me ask you a few questions. Do you believe that you truly are the creator of your reality?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And do you believe that right now you are in your imagination, whether you call it a dream or imagination? Do you believe that you're imagining this right now?
Yes.
Okay. And as we're here and you're becoming more aware of this, that you're imagining this and you're pushing this out right now, do you understand that everyone and everything is you pushed out?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. So you're more than just the body. So we have this conditioning that we're just the body and all the other things are out there. So do you understand what I mean, that there's no out there?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That everything is really in here, and we push it. Let's say like it gets pushed out the top of our head and then it just goes. So simultaneously right now, your mind is giving you everything it thinks you need for this moment. Would you agree in this moment of now that you have everything you need for this moment?
Yes, I do agree.
Yes.
Yes.
And would you agree that if I asked you for something, that if you needed it for it, it would show up?
Yeah.
So if I needed a dancing bear to dance behind you right now, you believe a dancing bear would show up dancing behind you right now, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And now that you're looking towards me, you can't tell right now if there's a dancing bear behind you, but there's a part of you that really wants to look, don't you?
Yeah.
See how fun? Yeah. Right. So with this being present in the now moment, so if I heard you correctly, that you're commanding your reality and you want certain things to happen at work, and then when you get there, they're not happening.
Yes.
Can you tell me what state you're in when you make the decision and you make the command?
I'm actually pretty so I do it when I'm driving to work and I'm pretty
Okay.
relaxed, sort of thing. And so I plan the journey, the road. I say, oh, look at humanity in the because I go early in the morning, so it's quite dark. So I say, oh, the the humanity or the kindness of having a house, having roads, signposts, all these things to keep us safe and for ease and convenience. And I go to work and this is what happens, like everyone's
Okay.
in good spirits, everyone, do you know what I mean? So I plan it like that. And
Okay. So
it's
let me
not
ask you
just
this. Do you have the radio playing in the car when you're driving?
no.
No. Okay. And there are other people on the road with you when you're driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
All right. So
it's pretty clear. It's
okay.
not busy at all. So it's
What
a
I would
relaxing trip.
What I would suggest for you to do for a month is that when you wake up in the morning, before you can have some water, but before, if you drink coffee or whatever, right? Because we want the moments when you first wake up are like liquid gold, because the conscious mind isn't fully awake yet. You've woken up on a template and there is no story. Does that make sense? And you froze on me. Okay, we will give Kat a few moments. She just froze. I'm not sure if she's still hearing me or not. I'm not frozen, so I will talk a little bit until she either unfreezes or we'll figure out what we need to do. So what I'll do right now is I'll expand a little bit on what I was going to say, that the first moments in the morning, if there's any, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, she still looks a little.
Yeah.
You hear me now? Okay, good. I was kind of just okay. So what I was saying was that let's give you a new morning routine, and if you can give yourself an extra 15 minutes in the morning, and with these 15 minutes, if you have to get up and go to the bathroom, but if you could really stay in bed and not have to move yet, because the conscious mind isn't fully awakened yet. So when you're in that little groggy state, that is the sweet spot, because it's the sweet spot when you're going to bed, when you're starting to get groggy, that state akin to sleep. When you wake up, it's also the state akin to sleep, but you're starting to wake. And the less moving you can do, and what I normally do is I notice what gatekeepers, what echoes come in right away. Who's there when my eyes open? And a lot of times there's no thought. And I don't start thinking. I just stay in observation mode, because all I'm doing is looking at the room that I'm in. And I don't need to give it a story, because it is the story. So right away, I'm grounding myself into the now moment, right? I'm breathing deep, because we don't need the thoughts yet. We don't need those echoes. We don't need those gatekeepers, because we just got here. And we don't know what reality we're in, but we're in a reality that we recognize, and it's safe. And sometimes that's enough for it to trigger the story. But let's think about this. If you went to bed last night in whatever financial situation you were in, but you had bought a lottery ticket, and you woke up this morning, you don't know whether you're still in the same financial situation or you've won the lottery, you're still in the same room. Do you see what I mean? How the room is just a template. We don't know the story yet. We actually have to start interacting with things in order for the characters to come to the front of the line. So in the morning, the more you don't pick up that phone, don't even have the phone in the room if you can't stop yourself from, or have it turned off. You don't need, it's all going to be there. But here's the best time to do what you were doing in the car, because all you have is your beautiful, peaceful template. There's no other cars. You don't have to think about driving the car. You don't have to think about stopping at the stop sign or the red lights, because all of your subconscious can focus on what it needs to do, with you then commanding your reality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is something, and I know a lot of people have very tight morning schedules, but if you look at very highly successful people, very, very wealthy people, when you get to a certain level of wealth, it's not the money anymore. It's about the time, and your time is more valuable than your money. And I want to get that into everybody's money mindset right now. These 15 minutes can make you millions, because like our wonderful subscriber that had the question about the lottery in the 7 years, this is where you get 2 times each day to be at that state akin to sleep, where nothing's being called of you, nobody's demanding anything from you. And we've trained ourselves, because think about these things. I know you're probably a lot like myself. Half of our lives, we didn't have this. These little buggers only came around like 14, 15 years ago. How did we ever drive anywhere and get there? Right? How did we leave our house without someone being able to track us down, right? So when you think about this thing has turned into like another arm. I think there was a survey that I read years ago that if you're under 35, you're more likely to leave your house with no deodorant on, but have your phone. And if you're over 35, you're more likely to have deodorant on. Or I forget which way it went, but basically it was like the top priority for older people was deodorant, and the top priority for the younger kids was the phone, right? So those 15 minutes in the morning, if you can activate deep breathing, that's a language. If you think about little newborn babies, when they open their eyes and everything's taken care of, their diaper's not wet, their belly's not hungry, they just lay there and they're in pure awareness. This is our natural state of being. We were not talkers. We were not language. We did not come out speaking. It had to be taught to us. So anything that is taught to us is not us. So the more we can reset you back to factory settings, the more that you can stay in those, I call them the morning Googlease. Because the one thing that I trust is when I went to bed at the night before and I revised whatever had to be revised, and I go to sleep in the state of appreciation. I give thanks for the things that are here, that have been here, for the thanks that have been here today in the present, and the things that are going to come. And some of them I know how to name, and other ones I don't. I'm thankful for all of it. And I go to sleep in that deep appreciation. When you start going to sleep in a state of deep appreciation, you wake up in that state and you train your mind, because there's a mind, a conscious mind that loves deep appreciation. It loves conscious creation. We're just kind of shedding the old skin of the old one. And that's why if you really want to make manifesting with ease a lifestyle, take 3 months to really connect to who you are, learn how your mind works, because there's a lot of similarities that we have, but there's a lot of things we do differently. And then you can take 1 or 2, 3 manifestation techniques that you really enjoy and make them be your go-to techniques. So I'll give you an analogy. My grandfather played professional basketball for Philadelphia way back in the day, and he taught me how to play. And one of the things that he taught me, besides dribbling and shooting, he said, you get 3 shots. You pick 3 shots on that court, and you keep taking those shots until they become your shots that you don't even have to look. You get to that spot, you do the thing, and that ball goes in. And he said, you pick 3 different spots that if you're there and you're planted, boom, that's your shot. It's going in. That's kind of the concept that I'm doing here, that just like playing the piano, there will be some people that step to the piano and just play it, and other people that take 20 years to learn how to play it, because it's whatever assumption you're in. And there's nothing more annoying than for someone who put 20 years into something, have someone show up and say, what's this thing? And they have it's not natural talent. It's natural assumption. That's why that beginners, when you're in that beginner mode of something, beginner's luck or whatever you want to call it, it's because you don't have any assumptions contrary to what you're doing. Does that make sense? So in this beautiful 15 minutes in the morning, and I know that sometimes it could be like, oh, I really need that sleep. No, you don't. That's just a story you're telling. So the night before, you give thanks for that extra 15 minutes. You're setting up. This is where you really can set it up. And it may take a couple of weeks for it really to kick in, just like you decided to get up an extra hour early and go for a run. There's going to be days where you're going to be excited about it and other days where you're just like, nah. But eventually, if you do it enough, it'll become part of who you are. So instead of doing that in your car, from that deep breath, and don't rush right into it, just sit there and allow yourself to be in baby awareness, where you're just looking around in amazement, because right in that moment, your mind says, I love you so much. This is what I thought you needed. And if you wake up in that kind of love right off the bat, it takes a thought to come in and say, Yeah, but I want a mansion. Well, wherever you're at is your mansion right now, because you can't hate where you are and expect to get where you love. You can't have a happy ending to an unhappy story. So there's that beautiful song in the 60s, if you can't be with the one you love, love the one you're with. It's really like that. It's like brilliant. Love where you are, because the mind right now that you've trained to believe this is what you want is still giving you, because where you are right now was a wish fulfilled at one point. So if you take this time in the morning, and how's that feeling as I'm saying this to you? How is that resonating with you?
Yeah, it makes it makes sense, and two,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm happy to do that. I feel
Now, we
quite
will
peaceful.
also, awesome. We want to make sure that when you're doing this, do it from a standpoint of exploring your mind and consciousness, not doing something to get something. So don't make it transactional, but just how I do it is like, how lucky am I that I get to expand my consciousness today? What other things is it going to show me? Like, and again, you don't have to say those words when you're sitting there in that awareness. That's really what it is. Like you're there and you're saying, I don't have to get up and rush. I can just sit here and be. And it doesn't mean some of the old echoes, gatekeepers will come in and say, you can do this in the car, knock it off. You know, go get up and brush your teeth or whatever. So if there's a morning where you have to get up and go to the bathroom, get up and do it and come back into the space. But if you can really give yourself that 15 minutes in the bed before you have, because all you're feeling, that sensation to feel to go to the bathroom is just a sensation, and you can tell it to go away, and it will go away. You don't have to honor that, because remember, when you if you set up a security system in your house and it's programmed to keep you safe, that if the window's open and you don't turn off the security system, it's going to set off an alarm. When your mind is kind of doing this tug of war with you, it's because it has a security system and you just need to reprogram it and let it know that you're safe. And how you do that is being more present through the breath in the now moments. And you don't, when you are thinking, when you are programming it for your day, I don't want you to use words. I want you to use vision. Let's kind of stay away from actually needing language for a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you close your eyes at that moment, and what I will do is, if I'm in the laying position, I'll kind of sit myself up so that my body knows we're not going back to sleep. But one thing I do is I do have a second alarm for 15 minutes later, just in case that happens. It's happened sometimes. It's okay, right? So as you're sitting there, and you can create a picture in your mind of about 3 to 5 seconds of what the outcome. So if you see yourself doing a certain task that you would like to do, see yourself doing the task. And while you're seeing yourself doing it, if you're touching something, can you feel it in your imagination? If it has a smell, can you smell it? Right? If you are hearing something, like if it's a machine or maybe another person, they're allowed to speak, but you're not using your words, right? They're speaking to you. However you would feel and hear and see it play out in real life, close your eyes and be like your subconscious, because the moment that you close your eyes and see the vision of it, your subconscious thinks you're at work. Because the subconscious, you don't have to make the pizza. The subconscious will give you a pizza. So the moment you close your eyes and you do your imaginal act, you're there. Now, once you come out of this in the morning, and you'll know you've done it enough because I saw you smiling, all you got to do is move your little character around the board and get to work, and don't have another thought about it. Get in the car and put the music on and sing and blast the favorite songs and enjoy your ride to work. Know that what you've done is done, and don't necessarily look for it. Let it come to you. It will find you. And the other thing I would say to you, if you have a couple days, again, this is something new, you're going to get those hits right away. So let's say 3 or 4 days in a row it works, but the 5th and 6th and 7th day it doesn't. It's okay. You're still just like how spring, like we have, we still have some cold days, and like today it was in the 70s and it's going to be in the 70s, but then it could be cold again, right? That's just kind of the energy kind of balancing itself. That's why we have spring and fall. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
How's this make you feel?
Yes.
How's this make you feel?
I feel really good about it, but I also feel good about the work I had done previous. The techniques in the car that I'd done previously, because it was kind of like I was saying, like it's, a few days it seems to be consistent. Then there's not an off day, but it's different. And so I'm confident that already the skill is being developed, and doing it your way as well will add on to that as well. So yeah, I feel really good actually.
And the thing that I can say, when you're that centered, and especially that sweet spot in the morning time, but even during the course of my day, if I'm going to zero myself out, everything else gets blocked out. So I'm not looking at anything. I'm not driving, right? Because we can go into that automatic pilot when driving. But since this is so new, that when you can say 100% for sure that you were centered and there was nothing else getting your attention, you'll go deeper and deeper into that now moment. And once you start to really go deep into that now moment, you're not going to want to do it any other way.
Yeah.
Because you'll see how quickly those results come from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Whether we're talking about what you had mentioned earlier, or what the other person who sent in their question, you always have to ask yourself, before you're jumping into a new reality, do I really understand where I am now? Because if you are not present in the decision, the old mind, remember, it's lazy. It knows how to trigger you right back in. It knows how to make you think it's not working, or you've done something wrong, or you haven't done it enough. But when you are that centered in doing it, the mind doesn't even make an offer, because it can't reach you, because you're not in the reality and any near vicinity of it to make an offer to you to that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how'd you like your time in the hot seat? Do you feel like you got an action step that you can move forward with?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm excited to put it into practice.
Yeah.
As such, I'm looking forward to doing that.
And how calm do you feel right now? Oh, sorry. Not a problem. I appreciate you volunteering. How much more calmer do you feel now than when you first got on?
I feel like blissed.
I told you that would happen.
Oh, bless. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A big round of applause for Kat for volunteering to be. So the hot seat really isn't that hot. And do you see how the mind can work you up?
Thank you.
Yeah. But I really appreciate you being here. Appreciate you deeply. And I'm going to take you off screen. And you're going to keep us posted on how things go for you. We're going to want to get a follow-up and find out how things go for you. And one other thing, I know that you're going to be in the one-day event on Saturday.
Yes,
so I'm looking forward.
Yes,
yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to take you off the screen. And everyone else, we're going to wrap up here tonight so you can see what we've offered here, how different it is. And again, when we hear manifestation teachers say that you can have anything right here, right now, that's absolutely true. It's all right here. It's sitting next to you on the couch. It's in front of you at your feet. But the character you're in right now, if you're not seeing it, is showing you all it can deliver. It would love to be able to deliver to you at your feet, but it can't. So we love the jump off character because it gives us the contrast to let us know that, yes, we know that everything we have is here. It's already ours. It's ours before we ask. So now, can I develop a system that if it took my mind to be like this because it was trained a certain way, if that's the story, then can you take 3 months and train it differently? Train it to be, because again, it's always here to keep you safe. Both sides are the conscious mind and the subconscious, because the conscious mind is the eyes and the ears and the smell and the taste and the touch for the subconscious. It relies on all these 5 senses, but somehow we've given the conscious mind much more power, that this power of discernment, when it's really just the contrast bringer, right? In this moment, if you look at your gauge on your car and it's near empty, the conscious mind sees it, but it's the subconscious that moves the body to get the car to the gas station. And they're working in tandem with each other. And because that's a natural thing for you to do, there's no resistance to it. There's no resistance. There's no blockage to it. But when you have a conscious mind that goes, let's do this thing, and the subconscious, they start talking, and the subconscious isn't on board yet, because it's a computer. Once you do revise it, if you write a paragraph and then you go back and you change some words or sentences and you save the paragraph, the old one is gone. I mean, I'm sure you could find it somewhere in the computer world, but the one that you're looking at has been revised and it's instant. And because there's no resistance to understanding that, you see that. And if it was the old-fashioned way, you would rewrite it and you'd have a new piece of paper with a new paragraph on it. So all revision, we've been doing revision in many different things. If you cut your hair, you color your hair, you're revising. If you paint your nails, you're revising, right? You're taking what is and you're changing to what you like. You wouldn't go into an ice cream store and pick a flavor that you absolutely hate. But that's what we're doing when we're doing things out of obligation. So here in the Invincible CEO, I say, give me 3 months. Give me 3 months where you have a defined jump off point of where you are. You know what your done deal is, and it can be very, very delusional. And then we get the 2 minds to play along with each other, because you become centered and focused as the center dot in the now moment. And that is gold. That's better than winning the lottery. So to answer my friend, to sum up for my friend that asked about the lottery, what we need for you to do is to see and hear and move and speak out of the eyes, out of the ears, out of the mouth of the version of you that has already won. And one of the things that I think that you can rewire, because the way we have tickets in our mind, if I buy a ticket for an airline to get on an airplane, I'm not buying a ticket for a lottery. If I buy the ticket for row 17, seat C, that's my seat. But when we buy a ticket for a lottery, there's this idea that I could win or I could lose. Well, I don't have that. So why don't we stop giving tickets? You're welcome, Kat. Why don't we stop giving tickets so much variety and say that when I buy a ticket, I expect to be in the reality of what the ticket represents. So when you buy that ticket and they are the winning numbers, that means there is no, 3 million to 1, because you bought the ticket, and that's the key, that's the entry into that reality, to the fulfillment of that. And you don't even have to buy the ticket. So again, there's a whole lot to unpack in that question to do on a live. And every video I do here on the Invincible CEO picks another piece apart. But what it's going to come down to, whether you do affirmations, repetition, SATs, passive imaginal acts, active imaginal acts, it doesn't matter what the technique is. You are the I am behind it. You are the creator of it all. And that part of you can only say yes. So you have to let go of all the versions of you that doubt that. And when you do the transaction within yourself and you walk away feeling like you just did an Amazon order, that there's no doubt that that thing's coming in 2 days. And if for some reason, if it doesn't come in 2 days, you'll get some kind of notification. That reality will reach out to you and say, it's been delayed. Expect it here. Do you still want the order? Your mind works the same way because it created the Amazon. It created all these systems that you're already operating in. It shows you how it operates. It's just the more aware you are and the more centered you are in the now moment when you make the choice and you're so centered that there's no doubt within you that you've done that thing, it must come to be. But you need to activate more than one thing, because if it's just one thing, you're putting a lot of importance on it. You're putting a lot of pressure on it. So in that first month, I talk about giving in 3 months, we activate a lot of different things and they end up having equal importance, because to your subconscious mind, $1 million and $5 is the same thing. There's no importance to the $1 million. We're giving it through the conscious mind importance that it really doesn't have, because once again, your mind, if you want a pizza in your imagination, you don't go to work, earn the money, then go to the store and buy the ingredients or place an order on the phone or on the computer or however we want to do it. You don't even get up in the kitchen and cook the pizza. If you want a pizza in your imagination, you give yourself the pizza. And to your subconscious mind, you're automatically there. Just like in Kat's example earlier, the moment she closes her mind, closes her eyes and goes deep into the subconscious and sees herself at work doing that wonderful task that she loves doing, her subconscious mind doesn't know she's sitting on the chair in her house. It believes in that moment that she's there. And if she doesn't have any kind of contradicting thought to it, when she moves the actual physical character to there, the subconscious mind must deliver that outcome to her. But you can't have a contradicting thought to it. All right, guys, it was so much fun playing with you. Whether you're watching here live or you're watching on the replay, I have all those amazing links that are there. I'm so excited to meet with you all on Saturday. We have, and you can sign up at any time. Once you sign up, you automatically get access. All the wonderful things are there. I suggest getting in a little bit early so that you can wander around in there a little bit so you know exactly where to go. There's lots of pre-gaming. I'm going to be going live in the group a couple times before we go live on Saturday. I look forward to seeing you there. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. My name is Dede Pavlik. I'm the Invincible CEO. Give a like. It's a high five. Give a hug. It's a subscribe. And we will see you here again next week on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. live, Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy. Have an amazing night, guys.